Hey guys, we're going to get started. Happy Monday night. Hopefully everyone's been having a great start to the month. I think a lot of us can all agree that it feels amazing starting a new month on a Monday. It's like, okay, all the motivation, all the excitement. And I'm just super excited for us to crush this month. I think this month is going to be really big. I think going into the new year, going into the holidays always brings like a lot of momentum. Obviously, as long as we're willing to work for it, but I think it's really exciting because it's a great opportunity for us to just freaking crush our businesses. So before we get started with our amazing team call, I just wanted to shout out our leaders for the month of September. So these are people who were the top success club earners, the top number of lives changed, as well as the top recruiters. So the top coaches actually adding to their team and making their business that much bigger. So if you want to be on these boards, I always recognize the top 10 each week in both categories, and you must be editing the document in Team Fight to Finish family. So anyways, at the top of the leaderboard with 52 Success Club points is Carly Lindor. 46, Amanda Heidenreich. 44, Sammy Glonick. 42, Taylor Ricker. 34, Katie Roser. 32, Cassie Biltz. 28, both Alex Police and Amy Rada. 26, Carrie Glonick, aka my dad, aka Sammy, get it girl. And 24, myself. So congratulations to all of you guys. If you've heard a familiar face, make sure to shout them out in the chat because that is freaking amazing. It was a big month and just another exciting month to push our business forward and change even more lives than before. So next up are our top recruiters. So these are people that are adding to their team, they're building to their team, they are seriously 10xing their goals, their efforts, and the amount of coaches that are signed up by these 10 people is insane. Like basically everybody on this leaderboard that I'm about to announce basically hit diamond in 1 month. So just so you guys know, it can be done. It can be, I know a lot of my coaches are pushing for diamond right now. It can be done, but it does take a lot of work and consistency, and it definitely takes coaches being added to your team. So at the very top of the leaderboard for the top recruiters is 16 coaches added, Amanda Heidenreich. 15 coaches added, Taylor Ricker. 13, both Sammy Glonick and Carrie Glonick. 11 new coaches, Carly Lindor. 10 new coaches, Cassie Biltz and Amy Rada. 9 new coaches, myself, and then also 8 new coaches for Megan Kelly and Leanna Soward. So congratulations to you guys. Freaking amazing. Let's make this month even bigger. I know we can. I know it's possible, and I'm just really excited for that to happen. So without further ado, we have my coach, Chelsea Mortensen, speaking tonight. So we met from Instagram. I remember I was in the hospital. My hospital allowed me to stay in the hospital for 3 days as a new mom, which was awesome. And I think it was maybe the day after Maverick was born, and she messaged me and she's like, okay, this is just too weird not to say something. I have to finally message you. And she was like, I'd been following your pregnancy towards the end, and she's like, we both just had Mavericks. I'm like, what? Like, oh my gosh, like that's the only other Maverick I knew. And I'm like, what was his height and weight? She's like, 8'1" and 21 inches. I'm like, oh my gosh, mine was 8 pounds, 21 inches, like basically the same. And as babies, our boys actually kind of looked alike. Like, you don't ever want to say that your kid looks like someone, but our Mavericks in the beginning definitely did. So I am just truly blessed to have her on this call. She is a diamond currently in 1-star diamond quals. I believe Thursday is starting a new qual for her from one of her amazing coaches, Rank Advancing. But I'm just really excited for her because she has created so much momentum these last few months, and she is a coach that I can say 100% from day one has been consistent with this business, 100% putting herself first and making herself a priority as a mom, as a wife, as teacher, all of the above. So, okay, I need to stop talking. I can talk about her all the time, but I'm just so happy to have her on this call because she has seriously become one of my best friends, and I get to see her this coming week in Vegas. So, okay, Chelsea, I unmuted you. I'm going to shut up now and take my notes.
Okay, you guys hear me? Yes? Okay. I'm on where I can only see Jamie, because if I see every other face, I get nervous. So yes, Jamie kind of gave you a background of how we met And my name is Chelsea. I am from Las Vegas, and I am 28 years old. I'm actually originally from Michigan. I moved out here 9 years ago just because I cannot stand the cold weather. But I love it out here. I'm probably not going to go back. Sorry, Jamie. Although I want our Mavericks to be BFFs. But yeah, I've always been into fitness, and throughout my 9 months of pregnancy with Maverick, I would always do body pump and kickboxing and whatnot. So I started following Jamie through a hashtag, like a pregnancy hashtag, and that's how I got to know her and stalk her. And after I had Maverick and I was a full-time teacher, it was really hard to get into that, into that routine, to work on myself and to put myself first. And I would want to, because like I said, I loved working out and I loved putting myself first. But after maternity leave and going back to work, coming home to Maverick and coming home to my husband, wanting to cook dinner, wanting to go to kickboxing classes, I just couldn't. So I saw Jamie was able to work out from home. She was able to raise Maverick at home, and she just looked freaking happy. And I wanted that. And at first, and it makes me sad to think about, and I think we all do this sometimes, is we sit there and we think, someone like Jamie, and I look at Jamie and I was like, I want that. I want to be that. But you think to yourself, like, I couldn't. Like, I could never be that person. I could never do what she does. I could never make as much money as she could. I could never be as happy as that person. But like, just sit and think for a minute. Doesn't that sound kind of sad? Like, to put yourself down like that. It's like, why do we do that? Especially as coaches now, and telling our girls in our boot camps, like, push yourself. You're so worth it. This and that. But we sit here all the time still as coaches and looking at top coaches above us, like we might not be able to do that. So that was why I signed up with Jamie too, is just because one day I was like, why not me? Like, why can't I sign up, and why can't I do what she does? So that was one of the reasons. I just wanted to be happy. I wanted to stay home with Maverick. I just wanted, the community looked amazing, right? And then Jamie didn't know at the time, but I was just going through some personal things in my life. My husband was actually battling addiction, and I just needed an outlet, and I needed to cope, because back when I did used to work out, that would help a lot with stress and anxiety. And I just needed an outlet. So that was like, I think it was like a little bit over a year ago, when I was like, all right, I need something. I need to cope with what I'm doing, with what I'm going with as a family. And I need to cope with myself mentally so I can be a strong wife and I can be a strong mom for Maverick. And there was just really no other choice. So I was finally like, all right, Jamie, sign me up. Just sign me up as a coach. Let me do what you do. So that was kind of when I started my journey. And just the community and Jamie and my team over the past year have been amazing. And last March is when I hit Diamond. And me and my husband had a big talk about me stopping teaching. So I stopped teaching in May. It was my last year, and I taught first grade for 5 years. Loved it, loved being around kids. But as a mom, and I know so many people do it, and when I had that conversation with my boss, it was like, I know so many moms are teachers, but it's just not for me. Like, it was really hard for me to share that love with 22 other kids and come home to my son. And it was just hard. So, and becoming Diamond just gave me that confidence boost, right? You're like, I can do this. So we had a big conversation, and he was working, he off-road races. So he was off-road racing, and he was working construction. So he had insurance, whatnot. We were fine. And we're like, let's just try it for a year, see what happens. So all great. Everything was looking good. And then actually on our leadership retreat this past July, I was there for 2 days, and I couldn't get a hold of my husband one day, and he actually overdosed. So our life took a turn for the worst. And I debated even sharing this story before I started, because it's hard. And I just want to know I just want you guys to know, like, where you can end up, I didn't think I was going to cry. I was preparing for this, like practicing, and I was fine the whole time. But he was actually in a coma for a week, and he's doing great now, and he's in an intensive rehab, and he's doing good, and we're just recovering. But like I said, our life went from being okay and him working on himself to him overdosing and needing our life just flipping upside down because obviously he can't work and he can't, we don't have insurance, this and that. So at the time that that all happened, he was in the hospital for a week and I took a few days off my business. And it was because my husband was in the hospital. I wanted to wake up. I wanted to go see him. And then I felt that guilt. I felt like, okay, I still want to post. Like I still wanted to, a part of me wanted to. I still want to post. I still want to share my journey, but I couldn't because of his career and what he did with off-roading. And I couldn't post anything and just for his privacy, you know. And I got the okay to share this from him, so don't worry. But and so and then for his family too, like what if they're like, oh, well, you're posting daily with a smile on your face, like your husband's in the hospital. I cared too much what other people thought. And I had to step back and I had to say, why did I start all of this? Why? And it was because for me to cope with something, right? For me to be mentally stable. And so I started again. I took 2 days off. I didn't really post. I didn't really share. And then I was like, screw this. Like, this is how I need to cope with things. I need to share my journey. I need to let people know like that I am going through something when necessarily they don't necessarily know exactly what. So I did, and I started because it was either I continued to do what I did for myself, or I would have let myself go completely. And that was the day really when I was like, how bad do I want this? Do I want to go back to teaching? No. What do I need to do in order to support my family, be a good mom? I have a baby girl due in January. And what do I need to do in order to support them? And I had to be mentally stable and mentally strong for my family and my husband and whatnot to get him better. So I hustled and I hustled and I hustled. And I didn't stop because I knew I couldn't. I didn't have any other choice, you guys, right? I just didn't. There was no other choice for me but to continue working the business and see really what I am capable of. Because that's what, like, if you guys get anything out of this call, I want it to be that you to tell yourself that you're capable. Because I had to say it so many times, like, what are you really capable of, Chelsea? And that is when, like, July, from when that traumatic event happened in my life until now, is the biggest coaching months I've ever had. Because every single day I woke up and the first thing I did was think about my why. Like, what do I need to do? Why am I here? And that is, for me, is to support my family and to not go back to teaching, you know? So that's where I am today. And I don't want you guys to think like, oh, it's, you know, a pity party talk. And I don't want you guys to feel bad or sorry, because we're just getting my husband better. And it's brought me to where I am today. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because we can go through shitty times in our life. We can go through hard times. They don't have to be traumatic events like that, but we can come out of them and be the strongest person that we could be. And that was my story. Like, I never felt this strong before after such an event that happened in my life. So that's that. And now let's turn into some happy things. And I just want to share with you guys some things that have been working for me. There's just 5 things that I've been doing daily and in my business that it's just every single day has been helping and has gotten me where I am today. And like Jamie said, hopefully by Thursday, we'll be going into 2-star quals. And I just cannot even believe it. Like, I just can't believe it. I'm making bigger goals and I just can't believe it. So the first thing I have for you guys is just showing up daily. And it kind of goes back to what happened a couple months ago in my life. Is no matter what mood you're in, if you're sick that day, if you're not feeling like posting, it's show up. Just tell your story. Like, this is your story. People are following you for a reason. Tell them you're not feeling well and you missed your workout today. Just show up, constantly post, constantly put it on your stories. Especially before I announced that I was pregnant and I didn't feel good or had headaches or whatnot or felt nauseous. It was just like, okay, well, today I'm not working out. You have a headache. So it was hard because you are posting your journey. Same thing when I went through the event with my husband, people were like asking, and I didn't even know them, like, hey girl, is everything okay? Because I haven't seen you in a few days. And I'm like, who are these people like watching me? Like, people watch you, people are interested. So you don't want to stop, especially if you are really want to be successful in this business. So just show up, my first thing. Number two is consistency in your routine. So that goes back to showing up daily and sharing your daily routine. So I legit share my routine every single day, and I'm consistent about it. And sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh, it's too much. It's annoying. People don't even care, but they do. Like I said, people are like, oh, are you okay? Like, I haven't heard from you in a while. So what I do is I still, and I'm not teaching anymore. I do a few sub jobs here and there, but I still wake up at 4:35 in the morning just to work on myself before I can work on my family, and my son gets up and my husband gets up, and I reach out. So I used to wake up and I used to work out just to get it over with, but I changed that in the past few months because just with a few trainings too and learning from Jamie along the way. But the first thing I do, it's like, what do you hate the most? I hate reaching out. Like, it's not something fun and something I enjoy, and inviting and recruiting. That's the hardest part of this business, right? We can go and post our workouts all day. Like, I love it. I love working out. But part of this business I don't love is recruiting, inviting, but you have to do it. So I wake up and I spend probably an hour, five to 6:30, inviting and recruiting and get it out of the way. So that way, if I do have those pockets during the day, then I'm just like, oh, I can do some more inviting and recruiting, but I know I got most of that done in the morning, so I'm okay with that. So yeah, like I said, I used to wake up and work out, and now it's wake up, reach out first. Get away with the yucky stuff. What you don't want to really do that first. Another thing I got really good at was organization. I was not very organized in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, whatever, like it'll be fine. But really, getting yourself organized is like key. And for me, like, just being tidy and organized in the first place with anything helps me all the time. So I'm like, why aren't I doing it in my business? So the things that I've been doing, and I'm just pen and paper. I know there's Streak, and I know there's so many different things out there. But what have been working for me, I first started, I think it was like, I just get everything from my trainings. And I don't know, I forget who says it and what training it was from, but I got a whole bunch of stuff. So I first used to do, I think it's like the notebook rule or something, where you just put a line down a piece of paper. This one has 56 spots, and I just wrote down who I reached out to. And for me, I just put if it was on Facebook or Instagram, just for my sake. And by some of them, I see, this isn't from August, but I see I wrote future boot camp or October, or kind of what they say, just a little snippet. Or if they say like absolutely not or something, I just cross them out. But I still have that. So when I am struggling down the road, I can be like, let me follow up with these people. It's been a few weeks, or it's been a few months. So I've been doing those. And then with my most recent training, I have this template, and it is 100 invites a week, you guys, 100. I used to do like 10 a day and be like, pat myself on the back, good job. But like, no, like 100. So I've been doing 100, maybe even more. I would write them on the back. I would just, and it's not like super organized, but I would highlight the ones that are interested or signed up. I forgot what I did for this week that I used this one. But, and as you can see, only 2 are highlighted. Those are the only 2 that maybe were interested, but I still reached out to 100 people, and they still have that text for me and embedded in their brain, like, oh, this girl is a virtual health coach. She runs boot camp. Maybe down the line, she'll reach out to me, right? So, or I can reach out to her if I really want that. So those are just some of the trackers that I use and have gotten organized with. But you guys, the 100 invites a week have been a game changer in my business. Like, no doubt about it. And I think we started this training, when was it, like 3 weeks ago, beginning of September. And they gave us templates to use, and that was one of them. So I had that, and they also gave us this one. I hope I'm allowed to share these, Jamie. I mean, probably, right? We share everything. Okay. I'm like, But this is a little destination diamond roadmap. So it's just kind of an outline of who your diamonds are, who your emeralds are, not diamonds, who your coaches are, your emeralds, and then prospects down here. So this really, really helped, for visual learners, which I am. Because even before this, I would like draw it out and look at it just on like a piece of paper. And it was super helpful. But this is like, it's really pretty. I printed it in color because I like pretty things. So I made sure that when I do it, it's something that I'm going to want to look at. So, and yeah, we can share these. So organization, yeah. But game changer was those 100 reach outs. Like I said, I used to do like literally even when I hit diamond and a little bit after, I think I was doing like 10 reach outs a day and thought that was okay. And you guys might think 100 is crazy, but it's really like doing what, 20 a day or more. It just gets so great. And then number 4, so let me just go down the line. Showing up daily, consistency in your routine, organization, and number 4 I put was inviting and recruiting. So remember I was talking about earlier, this is something that I don't enjoy, but I have been doing it so much. So I do it every day. I recruit and invite in my stories and my posts. I do call to actions. Over the summer, I was talking with the corporate mentor, Sydney, and she told me that if I wanted to 10x my business in the next couple of months, do a call to action every single day. So I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, call to actions are hard. I don't want to invite to the coaching opportunity every day. I don't want to invite to the boot camp opportunity every day. But you guys, I also do, because call to actions are great for that engagement, just seeing who's watching your stuff, who's stalking you. And I've learned so much through call to actions, and especially just non-business call to actions, right? So I'm a mom. So most of the people that follow me are moms, and I can do just like, potty training my son. Like, when did you guys start potty training? This and that. And that just gets other moms engaged, and you can see who's following you without having to invite to the coaching opportunity or inviting to the boot camps. It's just a way for them to be like, oh, she's a mom too. And maybe they can just connect. It's building relationships, right? If you don't want to do that small talk BS that I don't really like. And because I don't love it. And it was awkward for me to invite and then just do like some small talk before that. Like, hey, your girls are so cute. Like, where are you from? Like, I don't know. Like, if someone did that to me, it's just not my cup of tea. And it could totally work for some of you guys, but for me, it just didn't. So the call to actions and doing non-business related call to actions have been really helping, because then that is something like if they comment or they are interested and do a poll, take my poll, I can reach out that way and talk to them. So I invite to that, to free groups, challenge groups, the coaching opportunity. And that's pretty much it for that one. Oh, so I kind of did like an example of one of my invites. And all I do really is copy paste, but kind of add something a little personal from their profile that I get out of it. So this is just an example of an invite to a boot camp. So if they're following me, I will say, hey, so-and-so, thanks for following my journey. Not sure if you've seen my posts lately, or if this is something you'd even be interested in, but I just opened enrollment for my next boot camp. Would you like more info? And that works for me. It just does. And if you guys, if that's something you want to use or something else works for you, perfect. But it's just super simple and it works. It's just quick, copy paste, add a little thanks for following me. And what I've been doing too is just, even if they're not following me, you guys, and what I like to say, if they like my photos, if they're watching my stories, it's fair game, and I'm going to reach out to you. So beware. And then recruiting for the coaching opportunity. This is what I got so much better at, because this was the one I wasn't necessarily doing to my potential because it was scary to me. But an example of what I would do is, what did I put for this? It says, I keep coming across your page and your girls are adorable. I'm expecting a little girl in January, so I'm loving all your posts. Okay, so I can kind of relate, and you know, and maybe I did love her, all of her posts and her nursery of her baby girl and whatnot. And then I said, so I'm not sure if you've been following me or seeing my recent posts, but I'm a part of this amazing community of ladies who share their passion for self-love and working on ourselves while guiding others in the right directions. And then I go into, I have no idea if this is something you'll be interested, but in all honesty, it has brought me so much joy and freedom. So I love to share with my mommy friends. And so many, like once I sent this, and it might sound like meaty, and I try to cut it down as much as possible because I hate when people message me this like long thing. Excuse me. But and so once I send that, they might be like, oh yeah, like what do you do? Like what do you do from home? This and that. I'd love to know more. And I've gotten so many, not girls that signed up necessarily, but I have so many interests when I send that. And it's just simple. And like I said, I copy and paste it and add another personal touch. So it's just a great way to gain that interest too, and let them know like I am part of this amazing community. So, and the last one is just believing, like I said earlier, just believing you can do this, believing you can hit that rank you really want to. Even if you just started or you've been a coach for 2 years and you haven't hit diamond yet, just believe in yourself and believe you can do it. Just 10x, even if you're not a full-time coach. If you have a full-time job yet want to be successful in this business, you still can do that. Like 100% you can still do it. You can still make that time if you really want it. Because what I've gone through is like hell and back in the last few months. And it's like, I'm proud of myself, and I'm okay to say that. Like I'm proud of myself to where I came today just because of knowing what I've been going through and coming out beyond it. So like I said, these past couple of months have been the biggest in my business because I'm just reminding myself of my why and telling myself that I'm capable of everything because I want to be successful. And I promise you, once that success comes and once you start hitting different rankings and seeing results in your challengers and whatnot, that confidence is going to come with it because it has with me. When Jamie asked me to do this team call, I was like freaking out because I hate speaking. Like I said, I only see Jamie's face right now because if I see everyone's little squares, I would be like, okay, I can't talk. So, and being a teacher, I still freak out. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys. I hope that's okay. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, so that was amazing. So you guys definitely drop your questions in the comments below. I know some of you guys asked questions. She was not reading them, so drop them now. So I screenshotted what everyone was talking about or saying when you're talking about Pete. I'm going to send them to you because they're really cute. Yeah. So yeah, I think for you, I mean, your routine is everything, and your routine is like, I remember when you told me, you were like, Jamie, when I know, because we're 3 hours difference with time change, and you're like, first thing I do is check your stories. I know you've gotten your workout in, and that's like the motivation. And so it's like, that was the first time I was like, oh wow, really? And it's like, you're so consistent with that every single day that it's like, for me, even after I've done my miracle morning, I go to your page every morning because I know that I'm going to see you. You're going to talk about your work. You're going to do your workout. We're going to see what Maddie's eating. Like it's literally consistency, and it's so important. Also, with how you're talking about when you talk to Sydney from corporate with that challenge of doing, a call to action in every story and stuff, and you're still doing that. You know what I mean? Like that is so smart, but that is so hard. So it's like, you guys, like anything is possible. Chelsea is telling you guys that anything is possible if you do it and you work hard enough. But every single day you have to wake up with a mindset and decide why you're doing this, because that's what's going to push you through to really be able to do that. But I also just want to touch on too that I think your direct approach with the personal touch, as far as like the reaching out and then connecting with them based on something with their profile, is genius. Because a lot of people, like, we don't want to be salesy where it's like, hey girl, do you want to join my team? Like, no, they don't even know who you are. But when you add that personal touch, it makes a little bit more of a connection right from the get-go. But also some people need you to be more direct. They, like Chelsea, I don't want to read a whole paragraph. I'm going to scroll through that. And I also don't want to answer a bunch of questions from you. Like, that's just like certain personalities. So you always have to be varying the way that you're talking to people, because, you know, when you just give them a whole paragraph, they know that it's, you know, maybe copy and pasted. So I think that's where a lot of people struggle.
Yeah. Okay. Can I pull up the questions?
How do I avoid the awkward small talk?
Just don't do it. Maybe just go with a direct approach then, or come up with a little saying that you kind of like how I shared, but because I hated that. I hated that little small talk that most, like some of the trainings that were like, oh yeah, just, you know, you want to make that connection first. And I just think about what works for me and what I would want. Like Jamie said, I want someone to be direct, like, hey, you know, I'm running these challenge groups. Would you like to be a part of it? Or I have this amazing coaching opportunity. Or like, I don't even think I mentioned the coaching opportunity. I kind of just say I'm a part of this amazing community of ladies who, you know, preach self-love and this and that. So I just wouldn't do small talk if you're not comfortable with it, because then it makes it awkward, right? So.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, this is a question from me. So for you, you're still waking up super freaking early to work on yourself, even though you don't necessarily have to. So, I mean, I love my mornings too, but for someone who might be looking at this as like, well, I don't have time to do that, or I need more sleep, or like, what would you say? How would you say, like, how can they start doing that?
And that's so true, because I feel like I go to bed pretty early because my son does, but if you have older kids who don't go to bed till 9 o'clock at night, so I know I can't get, especially at this age right now, holy crap, I cannot get anything done with Maverick during the day. He just wants me, like, he has to be sitting on my lap. So that's why I choose to still wake up. But even if you can't, or you want to sleep, or you're not a morning person, find those pockets during the day or at night when your kids go to bed. Because when I was a teacher, I think that's like all you can really do is just like try to make it a routine though. So what I tell my coaches, if make sure it's a certain hour of the day, or don't just be like, okay, maybe tomorrow after breakfast, maybe tomorrow at night, because that's just, you're not going to do it. Make yourself a calendar, write it on the fridge. Like, this is my power hour. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do reach outs at this time. I'm going to do, prepare stuff for my challenge group at this time. But I would just make it a routine and make sure you're going to do it. Just set aside that time.
So another thing I just thought of. So you said that, you know, these last few months have been the biggest push in your business, and I will 100% agree with that. So like, I remember when you told me, you're like, I no longer want this to work. I need this to work. And it would just be so cool if everybody, no matter what they're going through, just decided today, like, I need this to work, and to see how much harder they would work just with that mentality. Yeah. Like, I just don't understand why we don't all take advantage of that. You know, like you said, we don't have to have a big traumatic event. It can just be life, the busyness of life, that it's like, why not just make that switch? But I know too that, like, you told me like 2 months ago, you're like, I'm gonna be freaking two-star. You're like, no, Jamie, I really am. I'm like, girl, I know you are. Like, she was fierce about it, guys. So just believe in yourself and believe in your goals, but freaking own it too. You know, like, it's okay to be like, it's going to happen. Like, say that. Like, the thing that like breaks my heart is when I have coaches say, you know, like, oh, well, maybe it'll happen. It's like, it's not gonna happen. Like, you have to be the confident one in it with what your goals are, you know. I just think that's so powerful, because you're doing that and now you're going even further ahead of your goals because of that mindset. If anybody has any other questions, drop them in the chats. Do you call your groups a challenge group or a boot camp or something else?
I do boot camps.
How do you get,
and then they just switch to boot camps, but boot camps, yeah.
How do you get people to see or respond to your message when they aren't following you on Instagram? It goes into a hidden folder that not all people can check.
If they're not following me, then they don't see it. Like, it just, I mean, I'll go back and follow up or something. And if I see they don't see it, I mean, if I really wanted to, I can send them another message, but you can't really do much about it, or I can really control that.
Favorite.
But sometimes, actually, if their profile is not private, which it would have to be if I sent them a message, right? Jeez. But I would, if they post stories, because sometimes I'm like, ooh, they're posting a story, I will comment on their story, and then maybe they'll follow me, or they will look in their messages because they just seen that comment I just made, and then they'll see my little spiel from before. So that's worked too.
What is your favorite PD?
Girl, wash your face.
So
100%. Like, obviously, everyone's, but if you haven't read it, you have to.
Okay, so Brittany had asked, I want to do this so bad, but I'm standing in my own way. How do you just get over yourself?
Just think about your why. Why do you want this? Why do you want to start it? Just have a positive mindset. Because that's the hardest, especially when you're first starting out. I feel like I see it from my coaches all the time, my newer coaches, but I was in their shoes. Like, we all were. Like I started this this call. I was like, I didn't think I could do anything Jamie's doing, but I feel like I'm pretty happy. I feel like I'm starting to become successful, and I didn't think I would even come this far. So it's just all about that positive mindset and just telling yourself that you can do it.
So good. All right, guys, last chance for questions. Drop them quick. This call was so good.
Thanks. I'm so glad it's over.
Are you sweating? I'm like sweating.
Yeah. My face is pretty red. I put red lipstick on maybe to take
it looks tan. You look tan.
Face. My face.
Okay, Leanna had asked, are you controlling 2 accounts right now or 3? Like, how are you building your 2-star?
I have my account. I run my husband's account, which I just got him to diamond, and then my mom is emerald under him. But 2-star, one of my coaches are working really, really hard. She's working her booty off right now to get to 2-star. Well, to get herself to diamond. So I am diamond myself. I just got Pete to diamond, so I'm in 1-star quals. And then my coach, Christina, is a freaking boss, and she is 1 coach away from hitting diamond. So
she's hitting diamond Thursday.
Yeah.
We're all gonna go watch Christina hit diamond. All right, girl. Pressure on. You got this. How do you stay positive when you invite like crazy but continue to get crickets?
It sucks. It's the hardest, but I work alongside my coaches and we just talk about it together. It's really, I've just built a relationship with my coaches and gotten really close that it's like, I'll just box them and be like, God damn it. Like, this week is so I'm struggling, and they'll tell me the same, but it's like, all right, girl, no, we got to do this. It's just the community. Like, we're in this community, use your coaches. But it's hard. It's hard when you do reach out sometimes to over 100 in a week and you're like, no one even responded to me. Like, it's difficult, but you just have to keep pushing through it, because if you stop, it's just gonna, it's just a pause. And I'm trying to be so positive, but because if you don't, it's just gonna stop right there.
All right, last question. How do you get more followers? Just keep posting?
Yeah, I don't really have that many followers. I'm at like 1,900, but I don't have much. So I just keep posting and hashtags. I'm not great at Instagram, so I just try to switch up my hashtags. I have a couple saved in my notes, and save them. Just save everything in your notes. Everything, like my little recruits, like I copied and pasted my notes to share with you guys. My little spiel about inviting and recruiting. Just save everything so it's right there, and you don't have to take time to write out 30 hashtags or how many ever Instagram wants you to use nowadays. But yeah, I don't know about that one, just because I don't have that much of a following. I can lose followers and gain them all the time. So, but yeah, I just continuously posting. I do see that. Like, if I'm posting once a day, I don't, but if I'm posting 5-6 times a day, I definitely in that day, I see more followers.
Well, I think it's cool too, because obviously it doesn't matter how many followers we have, it's how hard we're willing to work. So to be able to be where you're at, and it doesn't matter how many followers. And I think too, like, you're just kind of like, I just do my thing. I just post. Like, you're not focused on all like, well, how can I, do those things? Because that's ways that we can spend a lot of negative energy on our business. You know what I mean? Instead of like, let's just do more stuff behind the scenes. So anyways, you're amazing. I miss you.
Thank you guys for having me.
You guys, I will get the recording up tomorrow morning, and then I'll also upload it to YouTube. So stay tuned for those. Make sure your coaches watch this call if they were on. And I hope everyone has a great night. I love you all.